Oh, damn. Wasn't even ready. Oh well. Greetings, most honorable listeners and masters of the martial arts. I am Travis.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Big Los.
And this is CTE, and this is going to be an experience for you. And just if you didn't know, I don't know how you didn't know, because almost the last 2.5 years, we have been sponsored by the Virtual Fight Tour. And coming up February 4th will be VFT The Grudge match.
But wait, Trav.
Yes,
we
sir.
can't mention the VFT without saying happy birthday.
Oh,
to the main man
that
himself,
is correct.
Jesse Ray. Because we are here on Monday night, so it's still Jesse's birthday. So happy birthday, big dog.
Yes, happy birthday, Jesse Ray, aka Jesse King, aka Don King, aka I don't know what else to say.
Your favorite promoter's favorite promoter.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. There we go. That's what we're gonna go with from now on. Your favorite promoter's favorite promoter. There we go. Yes. Yes, and so that's February 4th coming up, and we're gonna talk about go into details on that in a few minutes. But first, before we get into all of that, this is the first time we've been together for
a couple of weeks.
like 3 weeks. 4 weeks. So my brothers, I'm glad you guys are back. I'm glad you guys are healthy. I'm glad you guys are strong. How are you guys doing?
Chris, go ahead, Chris. You started.
Man, I'm doing good. Just back in the moving and grooving. I was out when Los was last time here. I'm feeling better now, Los. Thank you.
Good.
That's it.
Los, I got a question. Does
Yes,
Chris sound like a robot when he talks to you?
Yeah, he does. I thought it was just me, but yeah.
Okay, I thought it was me
too. You was being too normal. You're being too normal. So I'm like, all right, maybe it's just me hearing this and it's my side or something.
Nah, he sounds like a robot somehow.
Does that sound better?
No.
You're kind of cracking up.
I got nothing then.
I have no idea why it's like this. All right then. Well, Los, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. Yeah. Been a good week. Got some stuff I had to do last week, family stuff. So sometimes I gotta take care of that. But as a whole, everything's good, man. The Eagles, #1 seed in NFC. So what can I say? We pulled that off. We're gonna have a nice little ride, a little run. See what it do.
All right.
You got the Eagles colors on today too, so I appreciate that.
Who, me? These are not Eagles colors.
Those are green. Yeah, it's green, white, and black. Absolutely, those are Eagles colors, right?
It's Michigan State colors, but I guess we'll allow that. But actually, dang, Michigan State will be playing right now, or they played it. Yeah, about an hour ago, so they should be over with. I didn't even watch the game. Anyway, I'm watching this.
You, sir?
Busy. Like I've been just so focused trying to get everything situated and set up for AKAs and the launch of the new Martial Arts Center Network website, the clothing line that we're putting out, just running around from different places and checking different vendors, checking different merch factories and stuff like that to see about getting other things besides just shirts. Looking at a lot of different offerings for us. What we're going to be selling is going to be a lot of stuff, man. Like We'll start off with t-shirts real quick. We're gonna have different colorways, other shirts and stuff like that. But
so what's that shirt you got right now?
Don't worry about that.
Jesus. No wonder you sound like a robot. You treat your laptop like
hey.
Like this, oof, Jesus.
Once.
No, this is the Fist Kicks and Flicks. This is the green colorway we got that we are going to
sharp.
I know it looks really nice. It pops, right? So one thing we were looking at, I went to Michael's and grabbed like all these like colorful shirts because we got the base shirts. We got black, we got white, we got red, and we got purple.
Perfect.
We didn't get blue. We got purple specifically for Alex's shirt because he's a Vikings person.
Doesn't even know what the Vikings are.
Who, the Minnesota Vikings?
Yeah.
Alex Dingman?
Yeah.
From Minnesota?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, he's from Minnesota.
Yeah.
So that's why I made his shirt is going to be purple. So because of that, So,
perfect.
Yeah, so it's like, yes, I wanted to make sure people know that's what we're talking with. This is Alex's shirt. But with that,
he got his own shirt.
Yeah,
he got his own shirt.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will
like the shirt
with the shirt.
Identify, you said.
Yeah, I think they'll identify with Alex's shirt. Like, yeah, you need to. it's just and so when I printed up when I got the pink one, I was like, you know what? Because we were going to try some other transfers onto it, but I was like, no, I want that one with the Alex shirt just to see how it looks, and it came out nice. But certain ones look better. The CTE one, because the logo was yellow.
Okay.
I grabbed. I didn't realize this, but Drew was there. He was just like, I had this military green one. He was like, that's CTE, and I was like, what? He was like, no. I was like, I didn't know what to. Look. He was helping me out because some of these colors, I just can't. It is what it is. I'm halfway colorblind, but I put it on there, and I was like, damn, that's hard. Like, oh. Yeah, that one was kind of hard. I was mad that the size was like a medium, so I couldn't wear it. But I was just like, all right, I got to go out and find me a military green real quick, and just come back and like, print one of those suckers up for me. But yeah. So this is what we've been doing the last 2 weeks. Since Christmas, I've been just trying to focus on growing this brand and building this up. So I'll be in Atlanta this week, and I'll be in Detroit. I'll be in Chicago. It's a possibility I may be in New York for the grudge match. It is a possibility. It's a strong possibility I may come up there that weekend for that event. So I'm gonna be traveling. I'm gonna be all over the place.
I was gonna say too.
Yeah, I'm gonna be all over the place. It is what it is. And then I may head off to the West Coast. I may hit up the Bay and hit up LA. Hey, I saw your teammates been all over America.
Traveling.
On the West Coast, man.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, okay, all right. I see him out there. And some of the places he went were some of the places I went. And I was kind of like chuckling, thinking about him. Like, yeah, I remember going to that because I was like, I think he was out on a mountain or something like that. I think he went to the top of that mountain. And I was like, yeah, I remember that view. That's a nice view. But yeah. So shout out to Elijah. He's been having fun. So, yeah. All right. So let's get into the virtual. Oh, before we get into also January 28th in Warren, Michigan, is Arctic Challenge. We are also sponsored by the good people of the Gorhams. So make sure you guys, if you after AK stick around the Midwest, go head on over to Arctic Challenge and try and beat some of the top fighters and forums competitors in their backyard. All right, and we will be broadcasting live and commentary that same day. So yes, and we are in talk. I'm going to put we are in talks about another event, a big event too. That we get this one. I think people gonna start looking at us differently if we get this event. It's gonna be. That's all I will say. If we get this event, people gonna be looking like, wait, what's happening now? They might be doing too much. Now, something's going on. But yeah. So cross your fingers out there, people. And if we get this, we'll be happy. All right. Now back to February 4th.
Yes, sir.
The lineup came out.
Yes, it did.
But also, before the actual fights, a virtual fight tour, there is going to be a special presentation, a documentary that will be talking about how the virtual fight tour came about. I know I did an interview for it. Chris, did you do an interview for it?
I also did an interview for it.
All right, Los, did you talk to Jesse?
So what happened was,
Dang.
Jess asked me a couple times, and I was supposed to make the appointment, and I missed it, and then I had to schedule it again, and then I missed it again, and then Jesse was just like, "That was it." He was like,
Hey, we good, dog.
Like, all right, hey, it is
no,
what it is.
yeah. So yeah. Actually, I text Jess happy birthday today, and it was in the text thread that I missed. Dog, I'm sorry, man. You know, I support you all the way, bro. My apologies. It just like whatever happened, like a couple times, it just the timing didn't work out because of
It
the
just
timing.
didn't work. Yeah, it didn't work out.
And
Sometimes
that,
things don't
you know,
work
I was
out.
going.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Wow.
much love. Let's go.
Yeah, I saw parts of it. He just showed me a couple clips of it. It looks good. Can't wait to see the full thing on February 4th. Mahogany's doing it. I believe Mahogany's doing it because
Yeah.
and she's good. She does a lot of good work. So
Yes, she does.
I can't wait to see what she does with this documentary.
Now, are they doing some videos of like just how to score points and things like that too? Is that part of the documentary, or is that just videos they were just putting up?
I think that was just videos they were putting up
Yes.
Okay. To explain what's the rules of what's going on.
You
said you did?
I said I like how they had it in the little studio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thing, the whiteout studio. They look good.
Yeah. They work it, man. They are developing, man. So I can't wait to see all of this stuff, man. But yeah. So when Chris, did you see something? Did he send any of the footage to you, or like, hey, look, did you see this?
I seen the trailer. Nope, I seen the trailer like everybody else, man.
Yeah, I saw the trailer, but then he sent it. I was like, ooh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice. All right, I'm interested in seeing it. I remember I had to send over some footage from us talking of the show. Some of our predictions that we made about certain people that are in there.
This.
Yeah. So yeah, he's got a couple clips that he can pull from of us talking about certain fights and going in depth and breaking down what might happen in the fight and if we were right or wrong about who was going to win. And somebody might be, proven that they were correct in a certain match. That everybody keeps thinking that I picked somebody else, but when I really picked somebody else, and then everybody keeps thinking I picked somebody else. But we're not going to talk about all that until y'all see the documentary. So y'all can see what happened.
I almost feel like I can recall that one.
I bet y'all can.
Oh.
All right. But yeah, I can't wait to that. And then after that, there will be the actual Virtual Fight Tour 13, the grudge match. We got Jakai, I don't know why. Jakai versus Trey Brown. We got Shaq Porter versus Daryl Carter. We got Malik Green versus Jalen Lazenby. We got Michael Macri versus Amir Styles. And we got Trey Lazenby versus Thomas Wright. Did you guys laugh at the video of Trey and Thomas going back and forth about why they're going to win this fight? Yeah.
I mean, Trey seemed very sophisticated with what he was saying, and Thomas was like, "No, no." It's like, no.
I'm gonna win.
This boy's not on my level.
Like,
yeah.
Who was he? Who? Okay.
Yeah, I'm so curious about this matchup. Honestly, I really am curious about this matchup because I actually honestly have no clue how this match is going to go. I mean, Thomas hasn't fought in 15, 16 years, except for last year. He started fighting again to get ready for this. And Trey, if we were talking prime fights, Thomas versus Trey, and if we're talking about Thomas in his prime, Trey in his prime, I think Thomas would win. But Thomas 42 years old, dog. And ain't fought in 15 years. I have no clue how that's gonna play out. There could be some rust there. Then there's the size factor of Trey just being a larger man than Thomas. The fact that there's 3 rounds, they're in a cage, which means they're gonna be and they don't like each other, so they want to hit each other. So it's not like it's gonna be the most technically sound fight. All right. So I have no idea how this fight is going to go. I just know I want to watch it. Like I just know I want to see this fight because I just want to see like, okay, styles make fights, but this is a grudge
What's the
match.
contact rule? That's gonna be what I'm more.
Hawkins the center, so
Oh boy,
no knockouts.
that's
I mean, at the end of the day, there's no knockouts.
that could not be good.
I don't know. Like, you think Ox gonna get upset that somebody throws a late shot?
I just wonder how a 42-year-old man that is not of the same size as someone that is probably in his mid-30s, probably Trey.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I think
Earlier.
I think it's like a 33, maybe. I think.
Yeah.
So, like, if Trey was to hit him with a solid shot, like at 42, I just wonder how that would actually affect him. Like, you mean, like, if you ain't been hit like that and you ain't been, that's a whole different recalibration.
Yeah, Trey's 30 years old.
Mm.
Yeah. 250 pounds.
Mm.
That is not a small man. And
Nope.
over 3 rounds, it can wear on you, man. That's where I'm sitting. Like if it's a 1 round fight, that's a different thing. But when it's 3 rounds, and that can wear on you. So I'm just curious as to how this fight is going to go. With the experience, I can see Thomas picking him apart. But since it's being a grudge match and being in the cage, I don't know if Thomas wants to pick him apart. You know what I mean? I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen. Not because he can't. It's because he won't do it. And here's the other thing I want to ask you guys a question of.
How much is Thomas lightweight?
Huh?
How much is Thomas lightweight?
170. Giving about 80 pounds. So
Place.
You said what?
I said it's not my place.
I'm just gonna ask this other question. Do you think winning the match is the most important thing to these two?
So if winning the match is not the most important thing, then the other thing is to really just harm the other person, right?
Yeah.
So again, it's not my place.
I don't know, man.
He said, "I'm just here not to get fined, so I don't get fined."
I don't want to get fined. Nothing. I'm just here. I will not comment.
Oh, my Skittles. Chilling.
You said 250 pounds and 175 pounds.
170.
170. And then you said,
is that what the
it
tell says?
matters who's going to win the fight? Like, does somebody really want to care about winning?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
That's the thing I'm curious about. Do they? Because there's more pride on the line than anything right now. It's more dislike than anything. I mean, because the fight is just like, yo, I don't like you. Let's fight. And that's the reason why this fight is happening. It's not like
Correct.
They're trying.
It's not like two people are battling who's number one in the division or whatever.
No,
this is like, hey, I got beef.
Yeah, I don't like what happened in Kentucky. I don't like you. You don't like me. Let's settle it. That's it. Like it doesn't sound.
I'd be like
to see who I'm the better fight. It's like is winning the fight the most? I can see somebody losing and being like, yeah, but I blasted him and knocked him down. You see me when I laid him out? Yeah, he won the fight, but I won the fight. It's like the Brian Ruth versus Brian Plimple thing. Fight at the battle that one year. It's like, yeah, Plimple won, but Ruth was tagging you up. It didn't look like you won after you saw the fight. After you saw each other after the fight, it didn't look like you won. It was like, all right, what's happening here?
And they are about in the same age category.
In the same age category, same weight category.
Closer to the weight, same weight category.
Weight category.
Yes. So
It's not
This
my
fight's
place.
gonna be interesting to people, so make sure you guys go ahead and get it. Make sure you
Get
guys
your
go ahead and
tickets.
buy it. See
It's
the
gonna
watch
be
the virtual
exciting.
fight tour documentary, watch those fights, watch these young fights. I was actually when they put out the Jakai and Trey teaser about those two gentlemen, young
Yes.
men, and I was watching it, and all I could think of was when I was looking at Jakai, I was like, yo, he's growing up. Like that was the thing I was sitting there looking at. I'm like, yo, he's a young man now. I'm like, I just remember him running around tournaments, being that young kid that's like 9-10 years old, talking
Yep.
junk, acting like, but it's like, all right, kid. And now he's 15. You see him starting to become he's starting to smell himself a little bit. He probably got a little chain or something, like, trying to talk to girls and stuff. Like he's in that realm, and it's like, hey, he's a little dude now. All right, he's a young dude. All right, cool. This is interesting. So when I was watching that was one of the number one things I was thinking. They're both 15 years old. They basically are. They're telling the tape is pretty much the same. 15 years old, 149 versus 150, 5'9", 5'11". I mean, both coming from good camps. So yeah, it's North versus South again. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I can't wait for that fight. Also, I'm interested in that fight. I think those two are probably my most anticipated fights I want to see. Third will be the Shaq versus Daryl Carter fight. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just interested in seeing that fight.
I'm a little more interested in Michael and Amir.
Michael and Amir. Why so?
Because you know who Amir is, right? Chris
Styles?
fam, yeah.
I did not know this.
Oh yeah. So
That's
that makes okay. So now you're like, maybe a little more interesting fight.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Michael Macri. Okay. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with this young man.
From Canada, he fought. He got videos from King of New York or K-Talk, maybe K-Talk. It was K-Talk. It was the last one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he fought there. I think that's where I saw him fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good one. And rounded out with Jalen and Malik.
Yep. All right.
What
we got in a couple of weeks. We got AKAs.
Yes, sir.
What do you guys think about getting your year off right? As far as the tournaments, like for especially Chris, like going in it from the standpoint of a forums competitor. I just thought about this. Going into it from a forums competitor, is this the time you start out? Do you, if you've been practicing something for the last?
You've already had the off season, so yeah, you come out with something.
Is it something
new? Something
new. Are you bringing? Let's say you may have 3 or 4 new things. Are you only bringing one new thing? Or are you trying everything at this first thing? And are you building towards something? Right. So I'm curious. Like when you start something, are you starting like I want to start this year off right? Am I building saying, okay, I'm gonna do this?
Nah, I'd probably because of the Warrior Cup and the prestige of that, I would probably go with something new and big. I wouldn't go with everything because you do want to build up towards Battle Atlanta, then save something in the pocket for diamonds. You know what I mean? Like you kind of space your stuff up. What
the U.S. Open?
Yeah, that's what I think I meant to say that. Battle in the U.S. Open. So it would be like AKA U.S. Open and then diamonds, like where you would kind of set your markers up for that, depending on what team you're on and what tournaments you do. But yeah, I would definitely throw something big, and I would be building towards a little bit something in a combo, and then I'd finish off with something like the year all thing at diamonds.
Is there a year that you can remember where whatever tournament it might have been that you started off that year like, okay, I've been working towards this and then I didn't hit it at the beginning of the year, and then you end up trying to refine what you tried to do because you say, okay, maybe I tried too much here or I didn't get this.
Yeah, I've done that a couple of times where I was like, man, first tournament out. But that's why I always do a local and a regional first. I always do one or two before I do anything else. That's where I go to see in live competition if I'm going to be able to do the things that I've been practicing throughout the off season before I have to go sit in front of the pressure of watching everybody else who's done the same thing on the national level. But I do that as a fighter as well. Well, when I was an active fighter, man, you drill specific things throughout your week. You find a local event. You do predominantly those things unless you get somehow in a bad spot only doing those things that you've been working on all week, so that when you go to the national events, you're battle tested and you're ready to go. You know, maybe not with the highest level of that tournament, but you're at least willing to go with that move or whatever it is that you're working on. I mean, for me, it would be the same in all realms of martial arts. You got to practice it. You got to test it on, some, your students and whatnot, or at your school. And then you got to do it at a local level. And then you would branch out until you get to the top tier level.
Okay.
I would think.
Well, I'm just curious. I have no clue how this plays out. Basically, I was just trying to figure out, like, especially with the beginning of the year, what, like, how do you think people are setting are goal setting right now? Like, let's take.
I think a lot of people. Go ahead. Somebody hasn't won a Warrior Cup.
Somebody who hasn't won their division, what should be their goal when, if they won one time this year? What should be a realistic goal for somebody who has won their division one time? What do you think their goals should be?
To be the best at what they're doing, making sure that everything that they're doing flows with their divisions. Consistency, and then make small tweaks based upon how it goes. I mean, I mean that's rough because it kind of depends. Is it traditional? Is it open? Is it do I need to tone it down and separate some of my bigger tricks? Am I like not doing much, then packing too much in the middle, and then not kind of finishing real strong? Is that kind of why? Would I be better at popping here with a combo at the end, or you know what I mean? Just kind of, it's a lot, honestly. The biggest thing, again, like I said, was consistency in yourself, and then if you're not going for it, go for it. If you're going too hard, maybe tone it down a little bit and see kind of how that does it. So,
Los, from a fighter standpoint, how would you, if somebody won their division one time and you're their coach, they won their division one time last year, what goal would you set for somebody who won their division one time this last year? Would your realistic goal to somebody who's been working and they won their division one time last year?
They won the division one time. Did they win the division one time?
Let's say at the beginning of the year last year.
And they hadn't won the division all the way up to that point.
Yep.
So where do they fall at? Do they fall like within the top three? Do they fall?
They fall in the top three.
Got wiped out every single time. They went to a tournament and fought the top fighter and lost to that person the first fight.
Let's say they
scenario, because it can't be like, what you got this scenario. Everything has to strategically be put together and in place.
Let's say that person gets second place. And let's say they went to 6 tournaments. 4 of them they got second place. 1 they got 4th or 3rd or whatever. And they
won the other one.
They won the other division.
Okay. So when they won the other division, when they took second place all those other times, were they losing to the same person? Did they beat the person that had consistently been the winner or won the other times that they got second? Like, what happened in that scenario? Or did they get second place and the person that's the top fighter just hasn't been there? And then when they won first place, none of the top fighters were there.
When they got 4th place, they just got smashed in the first.
They got beat by that first fighter. Like that first fighter just kind of just.
So let's put it this way.
Second fighter has the same level.
Let's say they won the division. Let's say they won the division and beat the person who usually wins the division. Okay. Right at the beginning of the year, first one time. The 3 of the 4 times they lost to the top fighter.
Same fighter they beat the first time.
Same fighter they beat the first time.
Okay.
Let's say the fourth time that they got second, somebody from one of the other divisions just so happened to jump in that division and beat them.
Okay.
Right. And the other one, they just had a bad outing and they lost early.
Okay.
What would be a realistic goal for that person?
So a realistic goal for that person, for me, would be to, one, if you beat the top guy, right, and then he beat you 2 or 3 more times after that, what adjustments did he make that you didn't make? And then how can we improve on top of not just the adjustments we got to make for that person, but close any holes so we don't have new things that appear to us coming into this year. Mm-hmm. So what would my goal for that person be? Obviously, my goal probably for that person to win, to not lose the division, because we made the adjustments that we did not make in those other fights. But anticipating that the person that we know we have to beat is going to continue to improve as well. So all we can focus on is what we were experienced during that time, and then what we're bringing new to the game. Anticipating this person isn't prepared or ready for this new element or new thing that we're doing per se, right? Mm-hmm. And then the goal is to keep adjusting to where I have to adjust so I can stay at that number one position, being first.
Right. I came up with another question for you. For this particular person. Yes, for you, Los. For this particular person.
Now you said divisional. You didn't say overall.
No, divisional. Just straight divisional. So let's say that the scenario is still the same, right?
Yeah. I forgot what the scenario was, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he beat the person once at the beginning of the year and then lost to him most of the rest of the other.
Okay.
Do you want them to focus more on what they do right or make adjustments or do wrong? Or are you telling them to focus more on how to beat the other person?
So my motto is, I've never been beat. I've only lost because of the things that I did wrong. Mm-hmm. So I would focus on what we're doing wrong first, and then what we can add to our repertoire that we aren't doing yet.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I wouldn't focus so much on just that one fighter as much as like what that fighter did to me. It'd be more of like what I didn't do when this was happening, right? And how do I adjust those type of things? And then what am I adding to what I've already had in place, right? So I don't want to take away what I already have in place because that's already had me at a pretty high level, right? So now I just want to improve on what I have in place and take away the mistakes that I was making when I was fighting this person, that person, or next person. So it comes down to you really not losing to a person. You lost because of the mistakes that you made.
Okay. All right, Chris.
So just really quick, because anytime somebody's able to score or hit or something, it's something that happened, an adjustment that wasn't made, right? Whether you set it up on me or not, or I did something, you countered it, whatever, is an adjustment that made that I made the mistake that gave you that opportunity, right? So if I can limit those things from happening, it's going to help me progress and go further on into where I want to go. So it's just that type of improvement I would look for.
Okay.
Correct.
Chris, back to forms and weapons.
Okay.
The same scenario, a similar scenario that this person, let's say, has 1, 2 of the 3 divisions that they enter. So let's say they win creative and creative weapons and traditional forms. Okay. But they keep losing the extreme that they're entering.
Okay.
What would be a goal for that particular person? And when they get to the grands, they lose to the person in the extreme. That one extreme that beat them. So what would be your advice for a person that is going through that?
Kid or adult, I mean. That's a big difference. That's a big difference because it's a labor of love. I mean, when you're in these different divisions for forms, I mean, you got to love it. You got to love doing all aspects of it. Or for me, and how I coach it, then I would trim some of the fat. If it's a division that, you know what I mean, am I getting second place and I'm only losing to the one winner, and then that one winner is still beating me in overall, even though I win the other things?
That's the case scenario. So would you tell them
you know,
to not focus on the extreme? Or
I would tell them to. I would tell them to keep focusing on it. I would, you know, and it depends on why. Kind of like Lo said, it depends on why. Are the tricks not big enough? Is there a stance issue? Is there a landing issue? Is there a cleanliness issue? What in that is the difference between me and first place in that specific division?
What's the difference
Right,
within the
right,
dynamic?
exactly.
Right?
And within that, again, the same question that you may ask, that you ask Los, is I'm going to fill in what I do. I'm not necessarily going to, I mean, yeah, I got to make sure that I understand kind of what other tricks that are being out there, but I got to really focus on what I do. I got to make sure my landings are clean. I got to make sure my lines are clean. I'm faster. I'm more creative. I'm whatever it is, the shift is there. If I can't twist as much, I gotta jump higher. So there's got to be something that I can do that separates me from what they do.
So, but the reason why I asked that question is because this is a different scenario than what Los was going through.
Right.
Los's person, because you're making it to the grands,
right,
and you're beating the person in, let's say, creative, but
creative
you're losing
weapons,
to them in
but
extreme.
I'm losing them in extreme. Yeah.
Right. So you said focus on what you do well. So clearly you're doing well at creative.
Right.
But there's something in the grand realm that you're not beating that person in extreme for the grand. So I'm asking, like, this person could, if they stop focus on extreme and doing the tricks that clearly aren't working for them, and they just focus on creative and making that one better than doing that. That's why I was asking that question. Is like,
right, because do you want to give out one division, because you can stop doing one division and then really focus on the other one.
Focus on the other one, or the creative or the traditional, and try.
I mean, and when we're talking about weapons, I think it's both. I mean, depending on what weapon it is. Depending on what weapon it is.
Is there creative weapons? It's just like extreme.
Yes.
I thought it was just
no flips. It's the same thing. It's all you can do all the trick releases, and you can do all the weapon manipulations that you want to, but you can't flip while you're doing it.
Okay.
Because there are
you
a ton
can
of
do
people.
all the releases in the creative.
Yeah, it's creative.
Okay.
Isn't that creative?
Not,
extreme is your body.
That's interesting. Okay. All right.
Correct. So you got dudes throwing it up and spinning like 7 times and catching it behind their back and all that jazz. I don't know if anybody's actually done that in a competition, but I think 3 or whatever they got now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you said, so the same thing still applies to what you're saying as far as just focus on the extreme and don't focus on creative, I guess.
No, I mean, it's different with weapons, because if you're winning creative weapons over the extreme person, that means your weapon work is pretty legit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you have great weapon work. So it's not the weapon work that is the reason if the overall it's the extreme is winning and you're not winning in extreme, it's the tricks. So what, I mean, you do have to look inside and see what it is that I can do differently to either really, really, really improve my creative to outshine the tricks, or I got to step up my trick game so I can do at least 3/4 wise, and then I show that I'm levels ahead in the weapon manipulations. You know what I mean? So you got to show that you can do at least enough, but I also do this way better. So again, it's still within your grasp.
All right, back to fighting. Los. Okay. How do you, as a teammate, try and get the best out of your teammate who is honestly costing you team fights? So let's say that it's a 3-person team fight, and you're doing your part, you're winning your fight. Your other person is winning. That third person is giving up big leads. In this, how do you are you the type of, or would you go to them and say, "Hey, look, I watched some of your footage and say this is how they're beating you," because it's not one person; it's in different realms. Or are you going to the coach and say, "Hey, can we get another fighter?" Can we get somebody else in? Like, how would you approach that scenario?
So for me, whoever lines up with me, I have all confidence that they're going to do what they're going to fill their role and what their role is supposed to be. But understand that there's times where there's moments where some people just get caught out there, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes it's just an avalanche of just not being able to get out of your own way. And no matter how much you're yelling into the ring or people are yelling into the ring, sometimes you just can't get out of that avalanche, right? So I would see that happen, and then obviously I have a conversation. If a lot of times, man, what I realize, and even teammates sometimes they don't really want to hear it all the time.
This is true.
They don't want to hear it all the time. They don't really want to hear it, like, you know what I mean? And it's not even like, and it's like when you have the conversations, like, yeah, I know, and it's like, but are you really hearing what I'm saying?
Do you know?
You get what I'm saying? So it's not so with me, it'd be more like, all right, well, I'll say what I'm going to say, what I saw, what I thought was happening. But if I know it's like a avalanche that they can't get out of, like, you know what I mean, and they're just in that space, that could be like a moment that they had. Now, if it's a consistent thing,
yes, consistent.
now just see how I set that up though, right? Now I said it's a consistent thing, right? If this is my third fighter that I'm rocking with, and I have to rock with all the time, we got to figure out what's happening in those moments. Like, is it the matchup? Is it the person? But you're saying that it's not even the matchup; it's just happening.
Yes.
Right. So first thing is, where's that person at mentally? Are they mentally there? Because obviously, if I'm trusting them to go out and do their responsibility and their job, then I have a certain level of their skill and what I believe they can do. Right. So are they mentally in the game the way we need them all to be in the game? So that'd be the first thing I'll check on first. Like, is everything all right? Like, what's going on? Last couple of fights, this is what's been happening. This is where we're sending you out at. This is where we need you to be stronger at. What's happening? What are you seeing? What are you feeling out there? This is what we're seeing. This is what I'm seeing. That's kind of how I'll approach it. And then if it got to the point where it's just not working, we just got to have that conversation. Like, man, like, we just got to either not do teams, or we just keep rocking out the best we can and try to get the best matchups. I have to do more for my team, and maybe my other teammate has to do more for the team, knowing that when we send our third fighter up, he may not be at that level we need him to be at.
Okay.
Does that make sense? No? That answer your question?
Yeah, no.
Get all deep when you ask me this stuff, man. My bad. I'll be all.
No, that's exactly what I wanted. Like,
exactly.
There's just so many things that play into it, man. I just know myself as a fighter. Like, there was times that I may have blown a lead. There was times where I've had fighters that was on the squad with us and like lost like big leads, right? So it happens. Like, sometimes it's just an avalanche you can't get out of the way of too. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's a pattern, right? And then why is that pattern happening? And then what can we do to change the pattern? Now, if that person doesn't see the pattern, that's a bigger problem.
That's what he said. Now that's when I talk to coach.
That's a bigger problem. Like, if that person doesn't identify what the problem is, whether we have a coach or not, like, we have to identify what it is.
Right.
Whether we have a coach or not. I wonder what team we're talking about.
Just saying, there's no team in general. Just saying, just in general. Like, you know?
All right. Oh man. Okay. Good talk. Good conversation there, gentlemen.
Travis, I got a question for you.
Thank you. Okay.
All right. Scenario.
All right.
You have a fighter that wins overalls.
Mm-hmm.
One overall, loses the next two, wins another overall, loses the next overall, and then wins the following overall. So I got 4 overall wins, 3 overall losses. Final fight of the night. Every overall was a different competitor.
Okay. Jesus. Okay.
And you're the lightweight fighter.
The lightweight fighter. Every overall was a different fighter that they faced at the end of the year.
Yep. You got 4 out of 7.
What's the question?
Why didn't you get all 7?
You said, why didn't you get all 7?
How do you have your fighter going in this year to get the shoot for all, not the shoot for, because obviously you're shooting for all 7, right? Mm-hmm. How do you get them to get past that number of 4 and becoming like that fighter?
Well,
you're the lighter fighter.
You're the lighter fighter. That would mean that
Doesn't mean you're a
first,
smaller fighter. You're just a lighter fighter. Doesn't mean like you're
yeah,
short or little. You're just
yeah,
a lighter fighter.
that would mean that you're on the doorstep. First things first, I would say I would ask about their training habits, right? So I'm like, all right, you had 7 tournaments. 4 of them you won, 3 of them you didn't. What is the difference between the tournaments? Did you prepare differently? Like, were you running, or is your regiment the same at each event, and you just had a bad weekend, or did you change something? Did a life event happen? Did you have a kid? Did you not? Did you break up with your girl? What
Wait,
happened?
One second. So you're saying there's a possibility that reality of life can come into play for a person at any time.
At any
Anytime.
time.
To affect how they perform.
That is
Correct.
correct.
Okay.
That's number one thing I'm thinking about, because if you are if it's not a particular person that's giving you a problem, then it's either you just weren't focused, or you're making for the most part you're just not focused, or you're not preparing correctly. Because if it's a different person every time that you fought that, then I can't imagine that everybody fights the exact same way, or if everybody's going to fight you the exact same way. Because even if they did, you won 4 to 7, so you have the majority of them. So that would mean that there is something.
There's been enough variety of the people that you fought.
Yes.
That you
and
should
different
timings.
timings.
There shouldn't be that much difference in those other 3.
So
okay,
the thing is,
I'm giving you part of the scenario.
I'm thinking like, okay, so then I'm looking at if there was something different there. The next thing is the difference in the venue? Where were these at? Right. So if you are a person who is fighting on the East Coast, are you struggling if those 3 losses were to Battle and Texas or in Florida, right? Like if you lost 2 in Florida and 1 so are you having a problem going down south, but you're focused up north for some reason? Is it because you in Atlanta and you want to go to the strip club? Or is it because you in Miami? What is it like? Are you losing focus because of?
So right now you sound like you about to slap me for a second, like you about to, like, because I didn't win those other 3. Like you're getting all animated right now. You're like, what is it? What you doing?
Yeah, like, what's the difference?
Yeah, what I do, I didn't even go.
Did your preparation change, right? Like, did you? Yeah. So I'm curious about that. The next thing is, I watch. Is there any consistencies in the 3 fighters you fought and lost to? Right? Are those
kickers?
Are they kickers? Are they punchers? Are they left side in front? Are they right side in front? Are they defensive fighters? All the different things. What is it? Something consistent that made you lose to that particular person, that you can't fight a person? Yeah, that you can't fight a person who's lefty in front. Like you just can't do it, and they're a kicker. And you just what is that? Is that your kryptonite? That's the next thing I'm gonna look at. So it's preparation, it's focus, and it's consistency in the losses. What you gonna say that loss?
No, you said kryptonite. I hated fighting left-legged fighters like that.
Really? Crazy. Huh. Yeah, it didn't bother me. That part. I hated fight. I hated fighting little people. I hated it. Because they always ran. As soon as they say bow, they all over the place. Like, stand in front of me and take this butt whooping. Don't be running here hiding behind the refs.
You finna have to come run into something. No, because I'm a small left-legged fighter.
As soon as you hit me, I'm gonna hit you 3 or 4 times. Maybe throw a knee up in there or something. Like, just hey, stop it.
Dang.
I gotta stop you from moving. I want to make you mad. So now you think you need to hit me. Yes, there you go. Stand in front of me. Let me just pick you apart now. Just stand here and do that. But anyway, yeah. So where was that? Oh yeah. So now we got those 3 things, and the goal for them is to all right, be consistent. Win the first event. Forget about it after that.
24-hour
be consistent. Yeah, be consistent in the next one. Same preparation, the same focus when you're in that ring. Did you, when you walked into that ring of those other 3 fighters, did you take them for granted? Like, oh, they're not as good as me. I'm gonna run through them, and then you don't take that case. So that's how I approach for this particular fighter, because it's not that you're not good enough. You've already proven that because you've won more than you lost at the overalls.
Right.
So now it's and are you winning overalls when nobody else is there? That is a scenario.
That happens.
Yeah, you could have won those 4 when the top 2 aren't there, and 2 of them there, and the third one you just lost to the person who just was on that day. Could have been that way, but when they weren't there, you won all 4. So it could have been that also. So it's a lot of different scenarios that could come into play that I would be talking to that person. But the biggest thing I would be telling them is, you're right there. You're right there on the door. So if you're doing 100 push-ups a day, I need you to do 150. Right? Just that little extra to push over. Because that's what's
100. If he's already doing 100 and you say do 150, that's not like a little bit. That's like
I didn't say do 300.
What you're doing?
Look, hey, look. If you not even winning your
I was like $1.25 maybe.
You about to say like what?
Bucket a quarter.
You do 115. You like
150. Because like I'm gonna say it like this. Yeah, you could do 100 and then you do 115. Now you barely getting by. You don't even want to barely get by. You want to get by. So push that up to another 50% and get by in this easier. You know
so you got to play Talib too.
Yeah,
I got you. Yeah,
I'm not saying, but if you doing 100 push-ups a day and you losing, you better do 300. You better do 400. So it better increase that much. It's a bigger increase.
You might want to switch to blitz drills or some
all kind of stuff. I mean, I'm saying everything goes up by a multiplier of 300. You need to go up more. All right, it needs to be a bigger jump. And consistency. Let's be realistic. A lot of people aren't consistent. Like this just is what it is. That's it. They prepare before the tournament, 2 weeks out before the permit. That's when they really start pushing.
January.
You should have did it 3 months ago,
right?
And been consistent through all 3 months. So, yeah, this is what you guys are looking forward to, people.
That part. It's that part.
This is what you guys are looking forward to, and there's something else Chris said. Go to these local events like Arctic Challenge to hone your skills. If you lose at AKs, if you win at AKs, if you make some mistakes at AKs, take your butt in the Warren, Michigan, and go to the and compete, and have a plan when you compete.
Right.
Seriously, like I know, I for a fact know my school and my family and my people will go into a tournament and say, I want to score with 5 back fists today. I'm working my back fist. I don't want that person to score on me. I don't want nobody to score on me.
That's the other one. That's the other one for me. Don't get scored on at a local event.
Go in there and say, hey, I'm working my defensive psyche. I'm going to fake them and I'm going to break somebody's ribs. But it's a plan that when you go into that tournament to do something, to work on something and become better. You can do it in the school. That's great. Because that's where you get your time in, you do drills. Make sure you do that. Make sure you drill people.
Drills are for skills.
Make sure you drill. Then you work on it in sparring. Then you go to a local event and you work on it. And then you go to these national or regional events and then go to an international event. And you just keep working it and getting it better into perfection. That's how you get better, people. So that's what you guys should be doing this year to get better.
For sure.
Have goals, not just say, hey, I want to win my division. Nope. I want to win my division consistently. If you haven't won your division, that should be your first thing. No, you could say you want to win grand. That's great. But first thing you got to do is get out the division.
Right.
You got to get out the division. Otherwise, you're not going to win grand. So you got to get out there. Then you got to win your divisional grand. So you got to beat that. You got to run the runoffs. You got to win that. You got to win whatever else you got to do to end up being to get to that final goal. It's steps. Sometimes people can jump over steps. It is what it is. But these are the things you got to go through. Have a plan, can be consistent, and be focused in order to win, people. You guys got anything else? Chris,
don't have yes men around you. You gotta have people to tell you.
And Georgia scored again. It's 45.
Yeah, 45. I was going to close with, but how about them Bulldogs? But no, that was it.
Oh, he dropped the pass because they were about to be on the 20-yard line again. Jesus. Anyway, you guys got anything else? But people who didn't have a plan today, we sure did do something well.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We did all right.
All right, director.
Well done, my friend. Well done.
Pull something out my ass every now and then. All right, fellas.
No comment.
No. Yeah,
I'll talk to you.
exactly. Just
I'll talk to
We
you.
gonna outro that
Yeah,
one.
Man, see y'all next week, man. Bye, people.
yeah, you
Bye. No music or nothing.
Nothing.
Dang.
did it to yourself,
Nothing.
Trav.
End.
You did it to yourself.